Well, here we are again. I don't know if I've got this camera right again, but here we are again. The date is April the 23rd of 2014, and the time is 10:26 p.m. Okay. I hadn't too long ago came back from, like I said before, I lived in a small town for almost all my life, and I moved to the other end of a road that was besides the town, and I ended up in another town so many miles away that was also a small town in another county, and I lived by myself. But anyhow, every so often when things line up right in my life, I go to the town that I came from and the church I went to in that town, and I'm considered a part-time member of that church. I come when I want to and go when I want to there. But do remember, if you ever find out where that church is and you go, do remember, come hungry, because every time the doors are open, they're basically a little storefront church. They own two buildings inside of the. You remember back in the old days when your parents were kids or your grandparents were kids? Remember the old strip malls that they used to have in the old days? It was a long brick buildings, and it had little stores in them. Okay, there is buildings like that in my hometown I came from, and in that area they have basically some buildings still in them they run. So the church has two of those buildings, one for the social hall and one for the sanctuary. And so that's how that goes. So that means when you go there, you need to go hungry, because every time they open the doors, they're eating. But anyhow, I want to talk to y'all this evening. Okay. Excuse whatever it is you do see around here. I want to show y'all something in a minute. If I can get my charger cord not to fall down on me. If it does, well, I had to pick it up. But anyhow, I want to show y'all something here. If I can position it right. Might be kind of dark. Yeah, you can't hardly see it, can you? I'll turn on the light. See that cup right there? That's the barrel cup I was telling you about, the giant barrel coffee cup that I got when I was out of town. Okay, I'm going to show you something else. See this here jacket? When you open it up, it's a hoodie jacket. It's camouflage, which that's one of my favorite colors, but I don't like using much overhead light much because it wastes a lot of money. I'm going to put the barrel coffee cup back where I had it. And okay, anyhow, I like that cup. It was a big cup, and that's what happened. So I'm going to go back to where I was with the... Okay, folks, I'm back. Well, I get the power plug. Okay, alright, okay, here I am. Now, you know I've been doing a series so far called On the Soapbox, or On My Soapbox. Anyway, it's basically me speaking my mind about a bunch of things and letting you know what I think about it. Well, here's a new one. There is a female who's in her 20s, and she lives in Florida. I think it was Florida she lived in. I'm not for sure. I may be wrong, but I think it was Florida where she lived, and she wanted to marry me. She wants to marry me, and plus, she was at one time married, but she got a divorce, and she wanted to remarry and the next guy be me. She has a child, which is a young girl. She said she had to relocate because of her situation with the divorce. Okay, so there's that. And then there's the fact that I've been talking to Rick and Bubba. Well, actually, it's a one-sided conversation right now, but it was me talking to them through me texting them updates about myself, which, if you don't know who that is, that's some radio stars that were on the radio and on TV. And anyway, now, if I say anything about anybody, don't get no ideas. I'm just trying to explain to you about these people. If I say this wrong, please forgive me. For a lot of times I may say things that don't make no sense. It's not that I'm trying to sound ridiculous, which that reminds me, that goes along with this thing I'm about to talk about. If you people turn to MTV and watch the show Ridiculousness, that is a very hilarious show. And the way old Rob Deerdick does the show, you laugh your butt off. I know some of the things they say and do on there may not be appropriate for some folks, but still, it's funny. That don't mean it takes me away from me worshiping the Lord. But you ever notice when you worship the Lord, there'll be a bunch of times when you find out that you'll read something about God or you'll watch something about God, and the next thing you know, somebody in a church will mention something that sounds like it goes along with the subject, and you're like, well, how about that? And pretty much what I was getting at about that church story was, I went to that church I spoke of earlier. I went to it tonight, and when I did, I ate too much food because they were cooking. They had soup and salad and some grilled cheese sandwiches and sodas, and when I go, I make coffee for those that want it. But anyhow, we drank and ate too much food, and there's my point. But it wasn't too long ago, I was watching a movie on TV one night this week, and it had the birth all the way up to the death of Jesus Christ. And they were talking in church tonight about things about Jesus, and it was just funny how it coincided with what was said in the movie. So I thought, yeah, that usually, if you'll notice how that happens, that the good Lord will do that. And He'll do stuff like that, and you'll think, isn't that funny how the good Lord does that stuff like that? And He'll let you see something in a movie and then turn around and talk about it in church. And men, look, there's nothing wrong with guys being friends with guys. And women, there's nothing wrong with women being friends with women. And people in general, there's nothing wrong with men and women being friends. There's nothing wrong with friendly strangers being friendly strangers who are friends with kids. Because, look, human beings, we need to learn that the friendly strangers in this world that look at your kids, they're looking at them like these kids are the future, and that the friendly strangers can teach them a thing or two about the good Lord, about life, about right and wrong, about get off drugs, don't get on drugs, get with the Lord or stay with the Lord if you're already with the Lord. I mean, things to good nature. The friendly strangers is what keeps the kids off of the perverted strangers. Stranger in this case means someone that you don't know and don't know what they're about. I'm a friendly stranger to some folks, and if they were to see what I would do to their kids, they'd say, this guy's just trying to help a total stranger they don't know who's a kid learn something. To learn to stay in school, don't do drugs or get off drugs, get with the Lord, or if you're already with the Lord, stay with the Lord, read the Bible, pray to God, good stuff. But you people out there look at people like me like we're perverts and don't know us that well. What's the deal? Do you not understand? Hold on. You people get on this rant and raving thing about if a guy like me tries to be friends with your kids, we're out to rape them, beat them, crush them, hurt them, whatever. That's the last thing we want to do. People like me just want to teach your kids, look, you see what your mom and dad told you about right and wrong? Sometimes parents know what they're talking about and sometimes they don't. When parents are giving you the proper message in life, listen to them. Same thing with teachers, doctors, lawyers. Good doctors will teach you how to stay healthy. Good lawyers will teach you how to not go to jail. And good parents will teach you how to listen to the good folks in life. But don't let the devil tell you how to go about your problems the wrong way. And I'm sorry, folks, but we've been putting ourselves through the ringer many times where we say, today's the day we need to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And talk about it in a manner like all people you don't know are bad. We need to let the world know that not all people you don't know are bad people. But we have to teach them how to figure out the difference between the good strangers and the bad strangers. That's all I've been trying to tell y'all the whole time, but y'all don't want to listen to that. Y'all want to listen to what y'all want to listen to, and that's all you want to listen to. Fine. Be that way. But remember, when people like me can't even get in your life in any good way, it's your fault because you tried to say we were out for something we weren't out for. I'm just being honest. But anyhow, let me get back to some other stuff. Hey, ladies, I'm not a playboy, but I do know that there's going to be one of y'all out there who's going to be single, who needs a good man like me. And if you do, come to me, talk to me, let me know about you. Don't be like what I've dealt with before. I've dealt with some doozies before. Now you say, what's a doozy in my book? A doozy is basically somebody that you got with, you shouldn't have got with, you wish you never got with, and you find out, man, oh man, I should have never got with that person. I've done it. I've had times before where I'd get with somebody who thought that their kids were gold, that their kids never lied to them, and their kids would lie to them, but they just couldn't see that lie. They just couldn't see the problem. So next thing you know, they went up in my face, well, you did this or that to my child, and or my child said you did such and such, and you're like, no, I did not. And expect me to be able to say, oh, I'm trying to do something that your child don't need to be a part of, and yet that child wants to be a part of it, and then if I don't let that child be a part of it, you're going to get all upset at me because that child doesn't belong in that situation. There are things you do that kids are a part of, and there's things you do kids are not a part of, and people need to learn that in life. Don't think that everything an adult does, children should be in the middle of, because if that was the case, everything I did in my entire life, a child would have been around for. And I like kids. I'm not putting kids down. I think they're God's gift to the world. I just don't think that children need to be in everybody's business on everything. There's a time when adults do things kids are a part of, and there's times adults do things that kids just don't need to be a part of. And that's just my opinion. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. And I don't like this idea of you people out there telling me that I'm always wrong if I don't kiss your butt for something that you did that don't make no sense. You'll do something that don't make no sense and expect me or somebody like me or anybody in this world, oh, just thank me for everything I've done in front of you. Why? Because half of what you did was right and half of what you did was wrong, and I'm supposed to applaud that? Let me applaud you when you do something that even God would applaud you for. Don't let me sit there and have to hear you talk about me like I don't even make no sense. I don't make no sense, and yet you want me to talk to you like I make every sense in the world. That didn't make no sense itself. When you hear someone say something that they swear up and down they're right about it. And I've seen people go to the point to live with someone, then they have to leave that person because it didn't work out, and then when they do leave them, they say to that person, oh, I'm going to move into another place. And so they go to live in that other place. Then come to find out when they go to move and live in that other place, then they say, oh, well, like, give an example. Say you're a guy and you live with a woman, and say that one of y'all had to move out because because it didn't work out between you and them. Say if the house belonged to the guy, maybe it's a house, an apartment, or a trailer, or whatever, and say that while the guy lives in that thing, whatever it may be, he has someone living with him, and say that that person he's living with is a woman he's in love with, and say it don't work out between the two, and she says she's going back where she came from and live on her own, and she thinks she knows exactly where she's going to move to and that she can live there and all, and then she gets there and finds out she can't live in that place she wanted to live at because she didn't think. People, do not assume because you moved in with someone and if you have to move out that you know exactly where you're going from there, because a lot of times you may think you're going to move into an apartment on your own somewhere in your town you came from, and you may find out you just got to live where you got to live. Don't be judging and say it. Don't be saying you know the situation. Because I've known someone to be a man and he had a woman living with him, and it didn't work out between him and her, so she was going to move back to the town she came from, and she said she knew exactly where she was going to live at in that town, and she don't know for sure if there's even going to be an apartment available in that apartment complex. She just, oh, I'm going to move to this apartment and I'm going to live here by myself and da-da-da. You don't know that. You don't know. You get there and find out there's nowhere for you there to live. But the place to me was trashy, if you ask me, and I don't think that. But you know, that's them two people's problems to deal with. I just don't think that people need to be dealing with such mess. But they're gonna have to learn from that experience and hope they work it out to where they go their separate ways and they move on. But anyhow, it was real funny to me how there was a town not too far from where that guy lived that the woman, when she finally left that guy and went back to her hometown, she found somebody one time that lived in a town not too far from where that guy lived. And I thought, that's real funny. You're sort of close to that guy with the new guy. Well, that's alright. That's them two's business. But anyhow, and there are times you get back with an ex and there's times you don't. If your departure from an ex was on a good situation, a good departure, then maybe you could try again. If you left an ex behind and it was on a sour note, you might want to let that go and don't even try again and just move on. I mean, I might have tried that before and it didn't work out with me because, well, it's just something you got to face the facts, face the music. It don't work, but that's just how it is. But I'll tell you something, folks. I may not be the most popular YouTuber in the world. I may not even get any fans. I may not have nobody wanting to deal with me. But that don't stop me from trying to do more videos and more videos and more videos. And I found out that the videos where I get instructional or documentary style on, y'all seem to like them better than you do when I rant and rave about stuff. I had a video where I was doing a cooking tutorial. Y'all bumped it up to 61 views. I'm thinking, what? I'm thinking, hey, it's something else. I've had 61, I've had 20 something, I've had 14 on some of them. And I wonder, what did I do differently in them that I didn't do in the others? Was it because I was sort of documentary in some and tutorials in some? I was telling you how to do stuff, like instructions. If that's the case, if that's what you want more of, I'll do that. But you got to be out there telling me what kind of videos you'd like to see me do. I was thinking about doing taste test videos, but I'm kind of testing the waters on that. I don't when I say test the waters, I mean I bring out what I plan to do, and then if I get enough people begging me to do it, I'll do it. Okay, I'm going to give shout outs. If I ever tried a product and I had a opinion about that product, I'm going to tell you my opinion of the product. And if I haven't tried the product yet, then I will try the product and then give a shout out about it after I tried the product. Like if I've ever heard of a product out there that I seemed interested in, I'll say, hey, let me try this here product for you people and tell you the name of the product. And then I try the product, and then I come back and say, here's what I think of the product. Like, here's the shout outs I said I would do for products I've already tried. Okay, now, I found out that some soups that you try anymore have flavors to them that either you eat the soup by itself or you mix it in with something else. But I took some of the Campbell's cream of mushroom soup, and since I didn't have no milk, I put a little bit of creamer in it, like powdered creamer in it, and some water and some sweetener. And then I put some elbow macaroni in it, the whole wheat elbow macaroni. And I put some of that, maybe you put the beer can chicken, or the kicking chicken, Weber's, them Weber's seasonings that you can see in Walmarts and other stores. They're powdered seasonings, that are in the seasoning aisle, and they're by Weber. They're like, there's kicking chicken, and then there's a beer can chicken and all that. Get one of them and mix in with the whole wheat elbow macaroni, some mushroom soup, and cream of mushroom soup, and some water and some creamer, and powdered regular creamer and some sweetener. Mix it all up, and when it finally cooks till it's done, then eat that. That's pretty good. Now, Campbell's has come out with some new soups. Yes, there is such a thing as a soup called cream of shrimp soup. Now, that was good, but my advice is get you some of that Jiffy cornmeal mix. It comes in the blue and white box. And when you get that mix, get you a can of either milk or water, put it in with the soup, and then put some of that Jiffy cornmeal mix in with it, and stir all that up till it's like a creamy texture, and cook that either on a stove or in a microwave, and you'll have what's considered, to my point of view, an instant seafood meal. It'll be like your grits and your seafood all in one. That's pretty good. It's also good to do that pasta recipe I told you about with that cream of broccoli soup. And try the cheeseburger chunky soup. That's pretty good. And then there's an enchilada one that's pretty good. But do realize, experiment with your stuff. Don't be sitting there eating it like it's regular. Hold on. Like it's regular stuff. But anyhow, and people, I'm not trying to be dirty or whatever, but I just don't want you people to think that I'm out there wanting just any kind of woman in the world. But it does get kind of aggravating being to yourself after a while. But if any of you women out there find me interesting, then let me know something. If I'm anywhere near you, then I'll talk to you, let you say, hey, what's up. I don't try to be no player. I don't try to do no lines. The only thing I do is, hey, how you doing? And try to get to know you like a guy's supposed to do. Most of the time I get in trouble with people because the ones that do me wrong are people that don't understand what I'm about. But I don't understand these people that tell you how wonderful they are, how great they are, and how good they are, and all. And they turn around and they don't. If they were as good as they said they were, then why do they have to look so trashy while being that way? I mean, I'm not going to name names, but there are folks in this world that do videos who, while doing the videos, look like, what are you doing? Then there's some that do these videos that I look at and I can't help but laugh till I about cry. I'm not making fun of nobody, as I said. And if I look at your videos, then pretty much I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about those that just don't know how to take care of themselves right. But I better let that go before I get in a jam here and get some of y'all mad at me. And did y'all know that the 22nd of April 2014 was Earth Day? Did y'all do like I said and Google John Mueller? If you did, you'll know what he had to do with nature. And I know that he was from another country, but I don't care about that. I care about what his contribution was to the world, about being a naturalist or nature lover. Because, there should be more people. I wish there were more people like that in this world, because they'd want this world to be a better place and want this world to be more understood for nature. We don't have much nature left. We have too many people cutting it down to make malls. Do not get me wrong. I love malls. I buy things from malls, but I do believe there's a place for malls and there's a place where malls don't belong. And we need to have some malls, but we also need to have some nature still left for the deer, the bear. And yeah, I do understand we hunt deer, but please don't think that you need to hunt deer for the trophies and throw the meat away. My point of view is, why do you crazy folks go hunt deer and you don't even keep the meat? You throw the meat away and then you just keep the parts of the deer that are trophies. Excuse me, if I went hunting right now, I'd be trying to get a deer for food. I wouldn't worry about the trophies. I mean, same thing for birds. Now, you may ask me, do I go hunting? Well, if a person asked me to go hunting with them, I would. If a person asked me to go fishing with them, I would. I wouldn't turn down an invitation, but do know if you're inviting me to go hunting with you for trophies, no, I won't go. If you ask me to go hunting with you for venison or for wild pork, okay, that's a different story. I'll go for the food. That means if you ask me to go hunting with you, I'm going hoping that you're wanting to go for groceries, not for trophies. If you are going into the great outdoors to hunt fish, or to fish for fish, or hunt deer, or duck, or whatever for the meat to eat, I'll understand that and I'll be all for it, but I sure enough won't do. So I just hope and wish and pray that you people don't ask me to go hunting and fishing for trophies, because I won't do it. And there you go. And don't ask me to smoke dope or get drunk. I don't get drunk. I have drank before in my life. I wasn't out to get drunk when I did drink. I don't smoke dope. I won't smoke dope. I don't do cocaine or no kind of drugs. If I do drugs, it's the kind the doctor gives you. There you go. So don't ask me to do illegal drugs. That's just out of the question. Please don't think I'm going to be a prude, a male prude, but I'm not into that stuff. Now, there might be some stuff I will be into, but that's more of a discussion for when you talk to me better and find out what kind of guy I am. But anyhow, you people, and you know who you are when I say this, you don't need to be trying to ask people for drugs if they don't even do drugs. you get on the internet and you'll ask somebody, are you a cop? And if they say no, they'll say, can I get drugs because my drug dealer's on vacation? If that's what you're out for, you need to get away from me because I don't do that stuff. I'm not into it. I'm not a cop, but I do know that no matter if I was a cop or not, I don't do that stuff, and I wouldn't do it. Besides, just look at me. Do I look like a cop? If I do, then cops are looking kind of rough these days if they look like me. I know I'm not making fun of cops. That was sort of a slap at myself. But anyhow, I don't know. I guess I'm just not on my mark as I was the last time I did a video. But guys, be patient. If God wanted you to have a woman, He'd find one for you and He'd give her to you. Same with women. Women don't judge a good man. If he's good to you, and if he's doing the best he can to do what God asked him to do to you, then what is your complaints? Some of you women will say, I want a good man. Then when a good man comes along, you kick him to the side because, for what reason, I do not know. But anyhow, yep, that's just how it goes. Now, there's going to be times when I may do videos early in the day or late in the evening. It all depends on what time I'm able to get to myself. But anyhow, I just want y'all to know that I do love y'all. And I know the first thing you're going to do is see me saying that I love y'all. Oh, he's gay. Oh, how lovely. I ain't into all that, but thank you anyway for thinking this mess. You know, but anyhow, won't be too long before I'll be 33-year-old. Be May the 15th, 1981. Now you say, May 1981, it done came and gone. I'm talking about on May the 15th, I will be 33. That's all I meant. But anyhow, let you go. And all I was just wanting to say right now was that basically, there's too many people in this world that just don't get it. If you stop and talk to people like the good Lord told you to do, you might get somewhere with these people. Each person has their different opinions of what you should or shouldn't do to them to get into their life. And if you don't pay attention closely, you'll miss out on the mark. Yeah, you will. But I'll let you go. I'll talk to you later. And hope that I get it together next time. Because when it gets late in the evening, I guess I just talk blah, blah, blah. Instead of serious, sensible stuff. Maybe next time I'll have an event or some activity on the videos and people you can meet. And if so, these events have allowed me to do this stuff, whoever the event may be or whatever the event may be. And the people in the videos that I talk to will be people that want to be videoed. Alright? Just to let you know that. Alright. Good evening.